There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong.
Ellie, I'm disgusted at what I'm seeing. It's not just this trial, it's other trials. But this in particular, the fact that white supremacists roam the halls of Congress freely and celebrate this little murderous white supremacist, and the fact that he gets to walk the streets freely, it lets you know these people have access to instituting laws. They represent the legislative branch of this country. What are we to make of that?
Welcome to the modern Republican Party. This is what these people want, and this is what a majority of white people vote for, right? When I say that a majority of white people are in favor of this kind of violence, it is because a majority of white people consistently vote Republican. Since the passage of the Civil Rights Act, a majority of white people have voted Republican, right? So, this is the party that they're supporting. A majority of white people pick judges like Bruce Schroeder, the judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. A majority of white people do not support policies that would unpack and unroll and reform this system of justice. This is what they want. Matt Gaetz is giving the white folks what they want. Look at it. Look at yourselves. It's gross. But until a majority of you stop voting for this, this will keep happening.
Could someone please explain to me how the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict shows white supremacy? I'm honestly confused. You have Representative Cori Bush that represents the St. Louis area who tweeted this out today, that Kyle Rittenhouse, a white kid that killed two white guys, Rosenbaum and Huber, and injured a third white dude, Grosskreutz, somehow shows that our legal system empowers white supremacy. A white dude killing two white people and injuring a third white person. Makes absolutely no sense, but this is their narrative. And then you have Representative Nadler that's arguing that somehow what happened today with Rittenhouse is a miscarriage of justice. That a white kid that was defending himself and killed two other white people and a third white guy that he injured is a travesty of justice. My favorite argument, though, is this hypothetical one, that if Kyle had been black, he would have been found guilty. As though Gucci Mane and DaBaby, who while defending themselves killed their assailants, doesn't show that you have a right to defend yourself in America. Ridiculous.
What the prop needle looks like that they used. So just be patient here. They just slow it down and everything so you can see.
You can see the needle pop back up. When I came on, I hadn't seen this yet. I know that prop. It just popped in.
Yeah, and you can see that again. She moves the prop on the surface of her skin, like she moves it up.
She pulls it out. It doesn't come back out.
Yeah, and then there's nothing there.
Well, she tries to kind of, oh God,
and she's the needle. Oh.
But they still uploaded it, even though it's fraudulent.
Clear, they couldn't even fake it good. And she's a Hollywood actress, and
bombshell. Mariah Carey caught hoaxing vaccine.
And again, she's not the first. She won't be the last.
We got so many.
Of the House's time, but since the Speaker has designated the floor to discuss members' inappropriate actions, shall we? The Jihad Squad member from Minnesota has paid her husband, and not her brother husband, the other one, over $1 million in campaign funds. This member is allowed on the Foreign Affairs Committee while praising terrorists. A Democrat chairwoman incited further violence in the streets outside of a courthouse. And then the cherry on top, my colleague and 3-month presidential candidate from California, who is on the Intelligence Committee, slept with Fang Fang, a Chinese spy. Let me say that again. A member of Congress who receives classified briefings was sleeping with the enemy. This is
The FBI has been tracking parents who are concerned about their children's education by using counterterrorism measures. Now, this very clear abuse of the Patriot Act is just one of the reasons why I've long advocated for getting rid of the Patriot Act. It's why I fought in Congress to get rid of the Patriot Act. Now, Merrick Garland and anyone else involved in this abuse of power needs to resign or be fired, because politicizing the Justice Department will destroy our democracy.
Insane. So insane that the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee today, Jerry Nadler of New York, implied that Kyle Rittenhouse may face federal charges. Today's verdict, Nadler wrote, justifies federal review by the DOJ. So will Joe Biden's Justice Department indict Kyle Rittenhouse now that he's been acquitted by a jury in Wisconsin? It's hard to believe. You'd have to be deranged even to consider something like that. What would be the effect on the country? But you never know with these people. At the very least, this case will be used to justify taking your guns away. Bet on it. But if this does go to the feds, if Kyle Rittenhouse is prosecuted by the DOJ, the case will likely be handled by Kristen Clark. She's the black nationalist who runs the so-called Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, the division that does not protect your civil rights. In fact, it's trying to take them away. Last year, Clark weighed in on the Rittenhouse case and immediately, not surprisingly, zeroed in on Rittenhouse's color, like his race was some kind of crime. She described him as a, quote, armed white man, murdering innocent protesters at, quote, point-blank range. What does his race have to do with anything? Well, it doesn't have anything to do with anything, of course, but it's been a fixation of the Democratic Party from the first moments. They've tried to racialize this case. And by the way, Kristen Clark is far from the only member of the party to try and do that. Just hours after the jury's verdict, the chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, Sean Patrick Maloney, a congressman, released this statement, quote, "It is disgusting and disturbing that someone was able to carry a loaded assault rifle into a protest against the unjust killing of Jacob Blake, an unarmed black man." End quote. Savor that for a minute. That's from the head of the Democratic Party's congressional campaign arm. Everything about it is wrong. Not just a lie, but factually untrue. Jacob Blake was not killed. He was also not unarmed. He was carrying a knife. We know that because he said he was carrying a knife. He was allegedly trying to kidnap a child. That's why the police showed up. And when he grabbed a knife, they shot him. Again, that's not in dispute. And he's still alive.